Hello, good morning to you all. Good morning. Okay, it's been a long weekend, right? I hope you are all doing well. Okay, so yes, we are continuing from where we left last week. I think the last week we should have ended SQL last week, but we're not able to do that just because I think we missed some 2 days last week. So cover that we have to finish the school before we get back to yeah back in line. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. If you are, I hope you can hear me. Let me know. Let me know if you are. I guess I have to go. Okay, so yes, I think this was from looking at my screen. This was where we got to. We did what the select distinct, right? In which we had what I made a reference that it is just like the value counts that we did in what Python. You get what the output without duplicates, right? So we did it and we had the output for gender. That means we get the unique entries in that particular column. Yes, the select this thing, that was what it did for us, right? Okay, so yes, we go to the next we go to the next one. We are still on our select, but now we are now going to add what we are going to touch on aggregate functions. Aggregate functions. They are applied on multiple rows or maybe a single column. Those things, they are just those functions where the output you are able to perform some let's say like maybe some mass, or yeah, you are able to, for instance, you should be able to count the number of rows that you are outputting. You should be able to perform the summations. You should be able to pick the minimum, pick the maximum, yeah, those kind of things, right? So those are aggregate functions when we are talking about aggregate functions. So we'll be looking at a few of them, right? Right. So let me create the title. So we'll be doing what? Aggregate aggregate functions. So like this. Okay, so we look at the first one, which is what count count count, which just counts the number. It just counts the number of outputs, the number of rows in your output, right? The number of non records, the number of what non records in your output. That's what counts. That's for you, right? So we'll go straight to that one. So let's say, what did we do the last time? So right. So you can apply count on most of these aggregate functions. We'll be applying them on particular columns. Count is the only one that I think we can apply it on all. We can apply it with all. But the others, you have to always specify what the column that you are applying the function on, right? So let's say what the last time we did was select. Um, we did select. Let me see. Let me select all from employees. From employees. This was what we did, something like this. So we have this output. What if the agenda is you want to know the number of rows at least these are what your employees. So if you count the entries here, it means you are obviously getting what the number, their number. Is that not it? Yeah. So yes, that's when the count come in. So instead of after your select, you have to bring the count there, right? After after your, I mean, after selecting, you have to say count. You see that it is a function. It comes, then we can say all instead of. So it's just like we are just wrapping whatever that we were viewing. We wrap that thing into the select function from what the same syntax. This is just the only thing that has changed, right? So when we say this and I run control enter, we get the output. I get what 300,024 entries. That means these are the number we can say, we can boldly say this is the number of what these are the employees that they have, right? Yeah. So as I said, count, we're able to do this. Let me rerun this again. Okay, let me go here. Employees. Employees has what a column name employee number, right? So let's do that. As I said, count, we're able to apply count for with star because count as for count, we will be able to do that. The other way is what the usual way that you normally select or view is maybe what you calling the particular column that you want. So we can say employee number. We know employee number, every employee number is unique here. That is the primary key over here. That is the primary key. Looking at the right side here, you see that I clicked on the table. I see what columns, employee number, and that's the primary key. So when we count the number of that entries, we will get it. We'll get a number of them there. So EMP underscore NO. Yeah, that is it. So when we say this, select this from employees, right? This gives us, but now we want to count them. So we just wrap after the select, we just bring our counts there, then we just keep it inside. So the EMP just goes into the count, and that is all. So if we run this, we get the same thing. So you see the count star and the count employee number, which was the unique entries, they all gave us what 300,024 entries, right? Okay, so we are getting the same output. These are aggregate functions, as I said, right? They allow us to perform some maths and do some calculations on these things, right? Okay, that is it on the count. So you can count the number of entries that you have, right? Okay, so sometimes we are saying count gives us the non what the non null, obviously. So there should be no null, and it will give you. But what if we have this one? Let's say this one. Let's select the first name. You see that we have first names here. So there will be instances where oh there will be instances where select first name, first underscore name from what sorry, from employees, and this equally we are saying what how many rows. Okay, so with this, you see that we have first names. What if we want to count the first names? Count. If we want to count the first names, we can count all the non. We are getting the first names, but it could also be that what I- don't we think there might be some names, some first names? Maybe there might be more than two. Might there might be more than you see that the count just counted what the unique end, the entries, the rows. So long as there's something there, it counted this, right? What if you wanted to just know how many unique, how many different names, different first names? That is different from we getting what we counting all of them. That's when you have that situation, we already know distinct already, right? So you just put distinct in front of what? In front of your function that, in front of your first name. So a column name called first name, right? So when we do this, we get an output. So look at this. So we are getting, you see that it has reduced drastically to 1275. So this is also something different, right? This is a unique first names that we have. We know there are several Emmanuels. Our in the workplace, they have several Emmanuels, right? But when they are counting the general, when they are saying they are counting the number of employees, that one is different. But when they want to know how many unique different first names do we have, so long as we know we have Emmanuel, we don't care whether they are how many Emmanuels they are. We are just counting what are the unique names. So we have Emmanuel, we have Theophilus, we have Tish, and we have very different, right? So when you are counting, that is different from what. So yes, the count we've been able to now add what distinct to it to work with, right? Okay. Okay. So then let's do the next one too, which is the next one, which is summation, right? We can do the summation. Okay. The next one is what let's go to the next one. We are done we've seen the count. The next one is what the summation, right? So we do for the summation before we go. Right. Okay, so which numbers do we have that we can do the summation from our table? I think there's salaries here. So let's see, let's first select all from salaries. Select all from what? Salaries, salaries. So when we do this, we have the salary here. So if in this situation you want to know the total salaries, how much they spent on salaries since, how much have they paid, so the total. So you obviously want to do sum, right? So the same way, select, right? Then instead of salary, you see the column name was what? Salary. Salary. The column name is what? Salary. Yeah, salary. From you see this salad from salaries. This when you do this, you are just picking that column, the, the salary column alone. But for now, we want to count it. We want to do the summation. If we do count, we equally get this just the number of rows that are there. But we want to do what? The summation. That is what this more of like we are adding all, right? So we just bring our sum. We keep that just in the summation bracket, and that is all. This is all that we have to do. You see the output that we've gotten. We get what is this? Three 600 and let me see. 61 billion, and so on. So that is the output that you get when you want to sum. As I said, the count. You can apply it on on a column alone, or you can apply it on the whole what output. But apart from the count, all the others it works on what, because they are more of like statistic stuff. You want to do summation, you have to, you obviously have to apply it on a single column, right? So it picks what? The column, then it adds all the entries that are there in that particular column that you are specifying. So this is it. You just use the select to view that output. That is it. The next one, that's there's also what? minimum, right? So we could have found, we could say we want to select us, give us what? The minimum, the minimum in the salary, who took the minimum, or also what was the minimum salary in this our salaries data set. So the same thing, min. So the function is min. Then when we open our bracket, we just type the column name, and the column in the salaries table is what? Salary. So we just say what? Salary. So like this. So from what? Salaries. The table name is what? Salaries. Then we end our statement, right? When we run this is the minimum. The minimum, the one who took the minimum salary took what? 38,700 and what? 35. That was the minimum that the person took, right? Then we go for, when we are looking for the maximum, right? This is the minimum. The same way we can do for what? The maximum, right? So the same way, select, then we go max, then we say what? Salary. So from what? The same way, salaries, right? So we get a maximum to 158,000 thereabout. So that is it for this one. We equally have what? We've done the minimum, the sum, and then the other one is what? When we could also look for what? The average. The in pandas we said what? Mean, but here it is what? Average, AVG. Select, then we say the average salary over here is what? AVG. Average, then we say what? The column name is what? Salary. From salaries. Salaries. So when we do this, we are getting the average salary. The average, on average, this is the amount they give to their workers, right? 63,000. So, right. So yes, you just need to know the function and you apply it on the column that your column of choice, right? You just need to know it and you apply it on the column, right? So this one we'll learn group by and we'll blend it, right? And we'll use it more, right? The next thing we'll learn how to do group by and we'll learn how we'll then appreciate all of these things, appreciate most of these things, right? Okay. Group by is this one. It allows you to just summarize, group a particular, you group the output based on a specific what column. So maybe we have departments, we have just as we have what employees, you like to group them, you like to group them based on their departments, based on their locations and so on, right? There are so many other things. So as we said, you want to group them based on a particular field that you of your choice. You want to group them based on a particular field of your choice, just as you are able to do. I think group the same thing, group like just as we did in what Python. When you want to group by, you know what you want to do, right? Okay. So yes, the syntax is just simple, right? So let's say um let me see. Goodbye. The syntax is just simple. So after your select, you select, maybe for instance, let's select what the first names that we have over here, since we've not done first underscore name. Then we say from what employees, the same from our employees. Then we say we come down, we say what? Group by. Group by what? I think the same thing. We can group by. We can group by the same thing. Employee. Uh, no. I think first name. We can group by the first name. So when I do this, you just say this. Okay. Yes, you just specify the column that you want to group them by, right? But over here, this one we are not even seeing what we have done yet, right? So we can equally, this is when now so maybe we can even count the individual names. So the Emmanuels, then we can get each Emmanuel how the number of times that Emmanuel came. So yes, that's when we can now come here. We can select and add what the count that we did. Then we say we are selecting the same thing, right? We are counting the first names that we had, the first names, right? Then when we do this, let's see the output. Okay, this is it. This is more of like, you see that it did the groupings, but we didn't just see the importance. That's when now that we've counted them. So Giorgio appeared. Giorgio, when we count the number of Giorgios that we have, that is the number of Giorgio. That's Patu. You see that. So basically, this is more of like uh, Lenore appeared 202 times. So that is the count that we had. Are we together? Okay. So you see the goodbye. So we've been able to what more of like categorize our first names. We've categorized the first names, and now we have grouped them. So the group by had what? Grouped all the Georgios. It grouped all the Bezalis. It grouped all the Patus. It grouped all the Christians. It grouped all the Anarchists and so on. But now, when we didn't add we didn't say they should count them for it. It just did the grouping, and it just came. But now, since we've learned what aggregate functions, we've now seen that we can equally count them, right? We can count each of them and get the outputs this way. So oh okay, we have these are the number of jockeys, Gioki also Patus and Patus. These are the different number of entries as I was using in our side. So we can get the number of Emmanuels that you have in your workplace. Okay. Okay. So yes, this is it. So yes, when the output that we normally get, I know we'll come back, but the output that we normally get, you see that when I did count, the select whatever that you selected over here, that's what you get in the output over here. There's a trick. If you don't want this same output, there's an alias that you can say. You can say, so when you specify how this thing should appear for you, that's how it will come, right? So we call it aliases. So as we just use as for it. So you see, as I'm saying, look at the output here. You are seeing count. Maybe you don't want that, right? So you can just say, when you select this, name it as, you can just say name as what? Name name count or something. Name count. So when I run this, you see that is what we get over here, instead of it just coming as what? um Count. And so whatever that you are selecting, you can give it as an alias. If you don't want it to appear, if you don't give it an alias, it just picks that same thing and it brings it out for you. It outputs it for you. But now that we said what, this thing, name it as what? Name count. So now you see the output, you get what? Name count, right? That was one thing. The other thing too that we can say is what, we can another thing that we have to look at before we even go is what, maybe ordering. So out of this output, you can equally order them, right? You can equally order them based on whatever criteria, whatever column that you want to order them by. So we can say after group by, we will not end the statement, right? We can say order order by what? So we can say order by name count, right? Name count, name count, yeah, name underscore count, count. So count it by this one. So yes, so when we say order it by the name count, you see that it has done by default. It starts from what? It is in ascending, so from the lowest to highest. So it start from the lowest and the end will be the highest, right? But still, with the order, you can decide to change it to what you like. So you can say what? Descending, right? When you say descending, it means you want the top one to come, right? So the top one to come. So imagine you did this, right? Are we together? I think are we together? I don't know if we are together. Yeah. So yes, the syntax has been very simple. Okay. Able to. Okay, we are together. So goodbye is when you need, you must add. Okay, yes, we are. Okay, the next thing where okay, so we've done the syntax already. Let me just try to write something. Let me do this. Try, oh, sorry, do this. So it is just it. You select what your column, the column names, the columns that you are selecting. So column one or whatever column two, and if you have more, you just specify, right? Then you say from where, from from the particular table that you are specifying, right? From the table that you are calling. Then we can even add a condition where, yeah, the where can come here, where condition can come here, condition, right? Where condition comes here. Then now you can do your group by, right? You can do your group by over here. Which column are you grouping it by? Then the column name. Which column column name. Then now you can do your the last thing that we just did. We can do order by which column do you want to order them with, right? So the column name comes here. So yes, this is it for now. For now, this is it. So let me end this one first, right? So oh, when I do this, this is basically what we've done so far. Select, then we have our columns, we specify, then you determine where you want to go. The next thing, we're about to add another condition. We're about to have another thing, which is what? Having. So more of like having allows us to also this output. You see this output that we have, maybe there's a condition we don't want to output all of this condition, right? All of this table, we want to output those that the name count is greater than 200, or the name count is what, less than 100 or less than 150. That means we have another condition, but this time around we cannot use the where on this one, right? Because this one was what, an aggregate function. right? This one is working with an aggregate function because this name count that we are having was as a result of this one was as a result of this one uh, aggregate function that we did. That was count, right? So if we have those conditions, normally you have to keep them just below what your group by function, right? So we can get back to this our structure, this our syntax that we did here. Then just below your group by, then you say having. So having is just like a where, but just that this one moves with what? With group by. Have you seen that? This one moves with group by, right? So having, then the condition comes. Have you seen that? Okay. So that is this is it. So we'll try. We can do this. As I said, the having is just like the where. Just that the where cannot do some of the works that the having is doing because having can work on what? We can use the having to further work on this one. So let's just say, let me go down. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do a trial here. Select what? All from what? Employees, eh? Select all from employees. Oh, let me now bring a where statement. Where hire underscore date, eh? Hire underscore date is what? Let's say greater than is greater than. Then I need a date. Let me say 2000 um mhm, then 1st January 2000. Those that were hired earlier than that. Have you seen that? So when I say shift and enter, we get this, and the higher date is actually there, right? Let's say let's try to use what? Having to. Okay, let me not, let me just leave this one and rather copy this. So now this time around we want to try and use having to for it and see whether we'll get it. We get the same output, right? Having has been able to do the work of this one, yeah, but we will not be able to what? Keep where there. Right, where this one immediately after the group by at that particular side, that time group by this one select where will not work there. Have you seen that? But you see, having has been able to do the work where was having has been able to go there, and it has worked perfectly, right? It has worked perfectly. Okay, so let's go. The same thing that we did, the same code that we did earlier on. So let me pick the same code that we did earlier on here, right? So we did select over here. Let me go down. Oh, let me come here. Let me send this DDML far away. Okay, so now let me say this. We have this. So we've done what? We are selecting the first name, we are counting the first names, and we have done the alias, we've done the group by, we've done the ordered by. But now I say what? The output that we had earlier on, we don't this output. We don't want all of this output. We want to filter this output again. You see that we've applied a group by, but now we still want to filter this output that we've gotten. That is where the having comes in. And as I said, what? After the group by, the where will not work over here. We have to use what? Having. So having, yes. So having, as I said, you want to filter. So having what? Then you specify name count. Let me say having what? Name count, eh? Name count, name. Oh, let me say name underscore count greater than, let me say what, greater than uh greater than, let me say what, 200, greater than 200, or let me say greater than yes, maybe greater than 270, 270. Just this, right? Let me go. So we get this output. We get those that words. We've been able to further add a conditional. Have you seen that? We've added. So if you want to see that we don't have those 120s and things that we did earlier on, let me do this. Let me leave this one. You see, oh, ascending, ASC. So you see, if I say ascending, then you see it is starting from the smallest, and you are seeing the smallest over here is what, 271, because it is that 271 is greater than what, 270. So you see the output, right? So that is it. That is it. That is it. Right? We get this output. Are we together? So it's just like how we did the where. We can add several conditions over here. We can add, and this was just a single condition. So we can add another condition. And, or, have you seen that? And higher date is greater than this. And let me say what? We can add a condition. And let me pick this. Let me pick this condition. And higher date is greater than, let me bring this here. You see that? So I've kept two conditions here. When I run this, oh, what happened? There's no higher date here. What happened? What happened? Let me see. My employees. Oh, I think, did I rather mix it? Did I rather mix it? I think I should. I rather did the opposite of what I was saying. Let me see. Let me see. Let me bring my where here and see. Where zero rows, this worked, but zero rows. Let me see. Okay, okay. I did the opposite of it. Okay. Another thing that we could do, another thing, so we've added the where before we did the group by. So more of like we filtered those that were less than, those that the higher date was less than 2000, and then we did the grouping by, and then we did the name count, whereby the name count is greater than this, just the same process. Right. Another statement that we would like to do is what? Limit, right? So all sometimes you want to limit, you see this output, it is more. So when you scroll, you see that you keep going down, right? When you scroll, you keep going. One thing that you can do is what? You can limit the output. You can determine. It's more of like this one is more of like the dot head, the dot tail, and so and the dot head that we know, right? So if you remember, dot head in pandas gave us the top five, the top this thing. Limit just allows you to determine the number of rows that you want to come first. So if I say limit to five, it means I want just the first five, the five, just give me the five, right? If I say limit to 10, then it means I want 10. Have you seen that? Right? So the limit allows you to determine. So if I say two, then I just want first two. Are we together? Okay. So yes, that is one thing. What we've been able to do right now is what? we've added, we've done the select from our table, whereby we use a where statement to determine state a criteria. Then we did a group by. Then we added a having condition, right? And then we did an order by again, right? And then we limited our output. That is really good. Okay. So for now, this is what we have, and this is what we'll leave it here for now, right? I think the select statement we've gone more into it. This is where we'll end the select for now, right? So we'll go to the next statement, which is what our we'll go to the next statement, which is the insert, right? You've seen the difference. I've told you about the difference between the having and the where. I just spoke about it, right? Okay, so let's go to insert. Do insert right now. So if you have a table, I mean, if you've created your table and you want to insert data into it, right? You want to insert data into it, it is just you use the insert, you use the insert to insert data into those tables. Okay, so we have a table, and we think we want to send add data to it. We want to input data into that particular table. That is when you think of what your insert, right? Insert statement. Okay, so let's see. Let's choose one of the tables that we want to insert data into. We have what? We have any of these tables. I can. Let's take any of these tables. Okay, you let's deal with the employees, the same employees, right? So we can insert into this table. We can add data into this table. So how are we able to insert into that table? The syntax is just simple. We insert into, have you seen that? We insert into this particular table. You know, when you see here, you know the column names, then you insert into them, right? The constraints, it is good you know the constraints. Yeah, maybe that's one column have what takes what null values, all those constraints that we learnt about. It is important to take notice of them when you are inserting. You should know what values this one is taking, what this one is taking, right? So yes, we can we are inserting into our employees table, right? Insert into employees. When you click do this insert into employees, you have to, the first thing what, arrange give what, the column names in the order in which your values will follow. So I will be doing what, um employee number. Have you seen that? Maybe employee number, emp underscore what, number, then comma, then I go for what, birth date, birth underscore date, then I have what, first name, first underscore name, then I have last underscore name, I have what, gender, gender, and I have higher date, higher underscore date. You see this? So I have my values. I have the column names that I want to insert into. The next thing is what? Me saying what? The values. So values that I want to insert into. So values, when I say values, then it expects me to give the values to in that order, in the order in which I've listed my things. So I say what? You see what? Employee number, it takes numbers. So I have to state my number. So I think the numbers were 6 letters and so on. So I say um let me say what? 5555555 comma. Then the next one is what? Birth date. So we can date is more of like a string. So we can say this person's birth date is what? 9 1995. Then we go dash 02-06. Have you seen that? So seat April, seat February 1995. So yes, then we can say what? Now the person's first name. Then we say what? The person's first name is what? Prosper. Prosper. That is the person's first name. Comma. Then we are moving to what? Last name. Then we say what? Ada Gane. See that? Prosper Ada Gane. Then we go. Then the last thing is what? Gender. And gender takes what? Just M and F. So we say what? M. Have you seen that? You see that? Oh, you just specify the gender. Then I think the last one is just the hire date. When was this person hired? Then we say let's just give a date. Maybe we can just give any date to 2000. Then I go 002.01, just like this. So I've specified that these are the values. So I've ended. So when I close the brackets, I have the values, right? When I close the brackets, I have the values. Then so when I end my statement, I have ended it. If I bring my semicolon, I have ended this statement. So this one is when you've created a table already, just as we did with the create statement. Now you want to put data into the database, into the table. So you type this, you specify the columns. Now, after doing the columns, you just come to what? Values. Then with the values, you type the values that you want to insert into the data, into that table, right? That is it. So if I run this thing, it will be inserted, right? So let me do Control Enter. You see that it has been executed. If I try to enter again, it will be something. So imagine there were more entries. So you had more employees that you wanted to add. It is just what? Comma, then you open brackets and close again. Then inside you give all. You give the employee number, you give the date of the birth date, you give the first name, you give the last name, you give the gender, you give the hire date. Comma. So normally you can just do this. Comma. When you bring your comma, then you come here, open and close, right? Then you give the details, everything, right? So this one could be what? 686. Then you bring your date. Your date is here. Then you go. That's just how it is. So it can just be what? So when you finish with it, comma, then you go down, you open another bracket again, right? Then you work. So if you have 1,000, then it means you type what? 1,000 entries, right? 1,000 entries. You see, the values is just one, but the rest is just the column names. You just do that one. Then after that, the values, you can just keep adding several values to it, right? So that is it with what we've done, right? So yes, this is the insert. How we insert it into a table, right? That is it. And moreover, we can equally what? We can equally insert into what? We can equally insert data into what? A new table. Have you seen that? We can insert data into what? new table. Okay. Are we together? Are we? Okay. So yes, 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 yes. Yeah, okay. Oh, what happens when the gender is typed male? So you just try it and see because you've told my SQL that this is what you were going to. So let's change this 555666. Then I try to give a different entry over here. Then I say this one is what? This one is what? This is what? Maybe so so I'm adding a different name. Then I say what? This is what? Akugwe, right? Then I say male. This is what I'm saying. See that we are getting an error. We are getting an error. What is the error? What is the error? Insert into this data truncated for column because of gender, the gender side. Ransford, you see that? We said what? SQL is very it follows a rigid what? A rigid way. You said you told it that the entry will be either M or F, and you've gone here and you are inputting male. That is what I'm doing. You see that it didn't execute. I had what? Red, empha. You see that? So whatever constraints, the constraints, those things are very, very important. If you say this is what you are bringing, that is what it has to be inputted. If you don't bring that, it will not be inputted. So this data, so just imagine, let me just make it M and run. You see, it worked because of that. When I just change it back to M, this one too has been inputted. Have you seen that? I hope Ransford you had it. The next thing that we'll do, as I said, what we wanted to we want to create, we want to add already 11. Okay, it's already 11. Let's see. We have inserted into we have inserted into a table. Okay. So let's just create a new table and insert data into that table, right? So let's just create a new table so that, but you can give several constraints. Yes, you can give several, yeah, you can set several constraints. Okay, so let's create this new table that will insert data direct into it. So let's just create one table right now. So let's create what? Create table. Create table, then we say what? Department, we can say what? Department, department, department underscore duplicate. Then I go. What are the column names? You have to give the column names. We say what? Department. DEPT. DEPT. And we say what? Department number. then it should be what, a character, just four words, 4 letters. The department should be just 4 letters. It shouldn't be now, it can't be now, that's just what we are saying, comma, then our second column, the department underscore name. Then this one can be voucher, and this one shouldn't be, you can take 40. We are just creating a new table, right? And this one too shouldn't be what, not now, right? So when we close this, this is what we are creating. We are creating this table. So when we do this, so yes, it has been created. So when we refresh here, we should see another table called what, departments duplicate. There's nothing in it. So we want to what, keep data into it. We want to send data into this department duplicate. You see that? So let's see how we'll do that. We are just selecting. We know when we say select all, select we have what, let me see, department itself. Department, it just have the same thing. So let's say select all from what, department. What do we get? We get this output. So we can, you see this output, we can just send. So you see this one, let's go. So we can insert into, we are inserting into the department duplicates that we created. But over here now, we have to specify the columns, right? You see insert, when after insert you have to insert, give the columns that you are inserting into. So department number, DEPTR, depth underscore what, number, comma, then department name underscore name, right? Then the values that we are sending into whatever the values, so we can say values or we not. So now here it is what, select. We can, instead of we typing whatever that we want to put here, we just want to pick the output of the select, a particular select statement, something like this. Select all from what, select all from department, what we did first. You see that? So when we do this, so basically it means we are selecting everything from this department, but we are keeping it in the duplicate table. So when I run this, you see that it has been effected because we are getting a green sign. So yes, it is done. So now it means we can now say select all now from what? From, at first the duplicate didn't have any data, from department underscore department duplicate, right? This, when I do this and enter, you see we equally get this output because we've just inserted the data that the select statement would have given us. We've sent it to, we've saved it somewhere. So this is a way of this, with this analogy or this method allows you, normally you can you can perform your whatever that you want to do, whatever analysis. You see that? And you create a table to accommodate that output. So you just do it, then pack. You save it back again in the database somewhere. So that data is clean, or yes, is of the structure, the final output, however you want it to be, right? You are able to save that, right? So this is what inserting into a table. So you create a table, then after your select statement, the output of your select statement are, then you just send it there, right? Okay. So yes, so then it means we are done with the insert table. The next statement that we'll be looking at is what, update. Update is more of like we want to, we've inserted data and we felt that no, there was somewhere we made a mistake somewhere, right? And we want to correct it, right? We made a mistake, right? So let's see. The first one that I inserted what? Let me see, select all from what? All from what? Employees, employees, where employee emp underscore number is equal to, the other one was 555555 four. So let me see. So I had what? Prosper Adagani. That was what I entered. Now I've realized that no, Prosper's date of birth is wrong. So I want to change it. You see that? Or what? The name I missed the name. That was not Prosper. It was maybe what? The surname was not Adagani. It was something. I just want to change something from this thing. Have you seen that? We use the update, and it works with what? Set, right? I want to do the I want to change something. What is it? Okay. So you say update. The syntax is what for update, eh? Let me see. Updates. Update. The syntax is this way. You update, you type what? Update table. Sorry. Let me bring so it is like this. Update. Update, then table name. Table name. Then you say set, then the name, the things that you know, the column, the value, the column, the value, the column, the value. Then you use a where to specify where you want it to be, right? So let's go. Let me come here. Let me finish this thing. Let me give an example over here. So you see. So yes, we have this output. So let's say updates, updates, update what? Which one? Employees, eh? Employees table. Update employees. Then we say we want to set something. Set what? We want to basically, let's change the surname, the last name, and the birth date. Have you seen that? We are changing those two things. So we want to change this. So I say what? Set birth date, birth underscore date. Then we say birth date is equal to this time around, instead of 19, then we send it back 1990, 1990 0101. So we've set the date to 1990. Then I say what? Last name, last underscore name to be equal to this time around Akugure. Have you seen that? So I've changed the last name to Akugure. Have you seen that? Then all I need to do is where now they need to know which row they are picking. That's where you need to know the unique entry. You need to know the primary key in that particular table, so that you use, because primary keys are unique, right? So you when you mention a particular row, the ID, you will be able to know that, oh, this is the row that the person is talking of, that he wants to set these new things. So let's say where, that is where your where come, where what? um oh, there was supposed to be a comma here to separate these two conditions, right? So where, then I say what? Emp underscore number is equal to, I think, 555555, right? So if I end this statement and I run this code, it should be done. It has been executed, right? So if I come back to run this, this code again, you see that now we have the same thing, but now the date has changed in the database. Prosper, the last name has been changed to what? Akuguri. Have you seen that? So yes, this is how you are able to what? How you are able to do those changes with just updates. Have you seen that? We are able to do this with just updates. Yes. So Ransford is asking. So let's say you are working on a company and send a database. Let's say the employees are your changes. The changes you make to the database permanent? Yes, they are permanent. They are permanent. They are permanent. So mostly they will not even mostly they will not even give you the permission. Some of them will not give you the permissions to do changes. Yes, they have permissions that we can give to a user. We can allow you to only do what you will not be able to do. They will limit your permissions. They will limit what you'll be able to do, right? Ransford will limit what you'll be able to do, because if they give you free access to do everything, and you what if you go and drop their table, you drop their database. If you run drop database, it will run, right? But they will not give you those permissions, right? Yeah, that's how it is. They'll limit your permission. They'll limit what you can do. And that's why I said, even we as analysts, what we should be thinking of is what? The one we should be thinking of mostly is what? The select statement, because that's what you'll be using mostly, right? You'll be using the select more, because that is what you'll be working with most of the time. You will not be These ones are mostly they are the work of the data. If they give you the permissions, if you're a wicked person and you just run drop database, you've killed them, right? So not everybody will have that access. Mhm. Drop If you drop database and you say employees, you've just thrown the whole thing away. So they will not do that. Yeah. But when if they give you the permission and you do changes, yes, it will be permanent. So yes, we've seen the update, right? The update. Okay. So we've seen what the update. So we've been able to, yes. So the next statement that we would like to look at is what? We've just seen the update. The next thing that we would like to look at is what? Delete, right? The delete statement. Okay. So the delete allows you remove rows from a database. So delete from a table, then you set a particular condition, right? Right. So we just added some two entries. What if we felt that it wasn't necessary? Let's delete them. Right. So we want to do deleting. So we want to say what? Delete, delete. Let me go. Say delete, eh? Okay, we delete from a table. That's just the syntax. You delete from employees. You see that? But you have to show it. Delete is used to delete what? Rows, right? So you have to show it where you want to delete, right? Where, then you specify a unique. That's why I always say that where when you are doing these things, you have to use the unique column, the column that is unique. Otherwise, you might delete things that you don't want to delete, right? So always try to use the primary keys. So delete from employees where, if I say where where the number is equal to 55555, it means I'm taking Prosper's data out. You see that? So when I do this, it is done. All the info about Prosper that I inserted is gone. You see that? And the other one was what? Theophilus 666. If I equally do this, that one too is gone. So that is it. Delete is used to just delete info from, yes. Right? So yeah, so done. This is delete. Delete allows you to do this. Yeah, I think so. As I said, hmm, let me see. Just try it, right? to describe. Yes, yes, yes. The next thing that we'll be looking at is what? Joins. I think let's do joins. Join is the last thing that we'll do. Joins, right? Do joins and we'll be okay. So yes, let's go. Let me show you this transition to this. Okay. So yes, 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 yes. Remember, Allah said, let's do relationships. And I said it will be important for us when we creating the tables, the relations that we normally, as we said, we are dealing with what? Relational databases, right? We are dealing with relational databases. So it is important. Okay, so when you have this, you have a table like this. You have a table like this. For instance, you have a sales table. Yeah, a sales table that have the information of the sale a sale. So you have the purchase number, you have what? The date of purchase, you have what? The customer ID, right? If you have this, if you have this, these two, when you have a table like this, you see, there's a primary keys and there are foreign keys. We spoke about this, right? So when you look at the sales table, this sales table, it has purchase, date of purchase, purchase number, date of purchase, customer ID, item code. You see that item ID is a foreign key. That means it is a primary key in another table, which is what? The customer table over here. When you look at item code, it is a foreign key from what? The items table over here. And also when you look at the items table, there's what? Uh, company ID, which is also a foreign key, which is coming from a table named what? Company ID. You see that? So it means, what it means is that you have what? This whole, the whole idea of this is that, the whole idea of this is that when you pick this, imagine you pick a particular purchase, the receipt and the table. You've seen the purchase, but you know, oh, this was a purchase number. The person bought what? This number of things. But then you've seen that there's a customer ID and you want to know which customer bought this thing. How are you able to do that? That is when the relationship that we establish. The relations here is what? What is in the sales table that is also in what? The customer table. That establishes the relation between those two tables. And that will help you be able to what? Pick information from this table and pick information from that table, and that will help you to get information from those two tables. If there's relation between those two tables, then you can get information from here. Okay. So for instance, let's go. Let me go for it. It leads us to what we want to do. As I said, what joins, right? It leads to the next thing, this thing that as I said, join. So it means what we are trying to say is that when you want information from two tables, then the next thing that what you are looking at is what joins, right? What you are looking at is what joins. It means you have these two tables. So we'll be using what these Venn diagrams. I think everybody here would have done Venn diagram long time ago. I think it is in GHS and uh, GHS, SHS, and a few people in SHS too in UNICEF, right? So yes, at least everybody did it in GSS. Venn diagram. Okay. So yes, when we are talking about joins, it means you have two tables that you want to pick. You want information from here and here in the output. And as I said, if you have if you want that, there are several type of joins that we can have. We can have what inner join. We can have what left join. We can have the right join. We can have what the full outer join, and so on, right? So the inner join will pick what when you have two tables that you want to join, right? It depends on the type of join that you are doing, right? So if it is a left, let's start with this one. If it is a left join that you are doing, it means what it means is that you want, imagine there's what the information there's what maybe you are dealing with first names in class A, and you are joining it with another class and you are looking for the first names there. So the first for the left join, the table that is on your left side, every information, it means every first name in that particular table will be outputted. You see how it means when you are doing the left join, the table on the left, the information on the table of the left, all is included. But when you come to the table on the right, it is only those information that is also in what the table in the left that is included. That is for the left join. And that is just the opposite for the right join. For the right join, then it means you are dealing with the right table. You want every information in the right table, but and also those that for the right side, for the left side, it is only data that was also in the right table that will come. So that is the Venn diagram over here. For inner join, that is the general one, the most popular one, right? That's what mostly everybody is using. What is here and is also here, the intersection, that's what we want. What is here and is also here, that is what counts. As for the full outer join, you can see that means you are getting every information, right? Okay, so that is it. Let's go back to our let's go back to our workbench. Let's go back to our workbench. Oh, let me. You don't want to go? Yeah, I'm taking it off. Mhm. Transition. Okay. Yeah. I will do that transfer. Okay. So yes. We have what? For our case, for our case, let's say let's look at our table here. Okay, let me see if I'll be able to get this. Let me see. Boom. Let me see the ER. No, 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 no. Sakila. It's just the same thing. Just the same thing. Just the same ER diagram over here. Let me go back. Okay. So let's forget you. Okay. So as I said, we want to join some two tables and so on, right? Let me see. I have departments, I have what employees, and I have what salaries. So we want to, when we do the first one, select all from what? Select all. We want to pick um employees, and equally we can pick the employees and also what? Get what? We can so let's say employees, we can take what? Let's select a few things from here. So we can let when we look at employees, we have what? Employee number. Let's see whether the salaries, there's also employee number there. There's also employee number there, right? So as I said, when you want to do join, you have to always make sure what? There's a relation. So we've seen that for employees, there's employee number here, which is a primary key over here. When we go to salaries, there's also employee number over there. It means yes, we can do that. We can join those two. So we can select what? So let's say we want to select what? EMP. Um, so let me say I'm coming. I'm coming. Employee EMP underscore number. We can do this. Yes, and maybe we bring what? There's first first oh first name, comma, there's what? Last name, and then when we come to the salaries, we want what? um salary. We want the salary. Yes, we just want the salary. Okay. From We'll come back to whatever that we are selecting. There's something we have to do about that, right? So we say what? From the first one is what? Employees, right? Employees. Then we come employees. Then we join. We say what? Inner inner join, inner join. Then we are joining it with what? Let's say the next table that we are joining it, salaries. Then you always have to specify the column that is unique, the column that performs, gives us the relation, right? So you have to say employees. You have to call for this one dot. Which column in that column? Which column in the employees are you using? We are saying employees dot what? Employee number. Take notice of this. Then you say equal to salaries dot what? Then you say what? Employee number. So we are saying there is a column name employee in what? The employees. Another one employee number in what? Salaries. That is what brings the relation. So when you do this, that's what happens. So then you can then bring your um when you just bring your run, you will be able to run. But now there will be confusion over here. Select EMP. Which EMP are you bringing? Or first of all, you let me do this. First of all, I want you to see something. let me delete these things and bring all. So and bring all. So let me run. So when I run, you see this. You see there's employee number here because it is bringing the first table, which is what? Employees. So we are getting employee, birth date, first name, last name, gender, hire date. These are all information from what? The employees table. Now the second one is what? Employee number, salary, from date, and to date. This is also from the salaries. But so now if you want to pick only some particular columns, you don't want to view all these columns, you don't want the output from all this column, right? So then you have to specify what the column that you want. So when we come here, we can say, how are we able to do? You have to specify the column. So you say what? Employees, you want employees dot employee number, emp underscore number, comma. You also want employees, you see that, from, you want only the first name. The same thing when you go for employees dot you want what? Let's say you want what? The last name. You want the last name. Let me make this thing appear nicely. Let me bring them down this way. Right. So, comma. Then now that is all that we wanted from here. So then when we go to the salaries table, we equally want only the salary. We only want the salary. That's all. So when I do this now and I run, you see the output that we are getting. We are getting first name, last name, and then their names, and then their salary. Have you seen that? This is what we are getting. Are we together? Okay. So yes, whatever that is, you get these two. Another thing that we could have done is when we can, instead of, you see that in typing we have to be typing employees, 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 employees dot. You can just set the alias from here. So from employees as you can say from employees as E. So it means wherever you see E, you can go to your select here and just say E dot first name. You see that? Then wherever, so this time with that one, then it means you don't have to be typing. Then we can salaries too, we can say salaries as S. Then wherever we see salaries, we just replace it in the select statement, we say dot S. So here to the same thing, E, then we come here and say S dot. You see this? So when I run this, the same output. You see that? Shortcut. Have you seen that? So now from this output, then you see that we've performed the join. This was the inner join. We could do what? So if you want any of the other joins, you just do what? Here you just keep upper join. But by default, if you don't specify any join, you just say join. We are equally doing what? By default, it is what? The inner join that you are doing. SQL, when you don't specify any join, you don't specify whether it is inner, it is outer join, it is this one, and you just say join. Then you are doing what? The inner join. Have you seen that? Yes. So now you can do your group, right? You can then do this output by anyone, right? So we can just, you see what we did earlier on. What we did earlier on. We can select only the first name and the last name keke. You see that? And then we'll come here group words. You see that the first time when we did the count we did what? So we can group E dot what? The first name, we can count the first name here. Count E dot what? First name. Yeah, we can do this. Then over here, I think inside here, after. So let's say we are group by E dot what? First name. Have you seen that? So let me see. Oh, what happened? Let me see. I don't know why. Okay, list not in group by clause contains non-aggregated. Non-aggregated. Mhm. Let me see. What did we do? First name. The last time, what did we do over here? Mhm. This was what we did. Yeah. Okay. Why? What happened to now? Group by join when we don't specify and it is just join. It is the inner by default. My SQL does the inner join for us. Oh, let me see. Ah, what happened? Mhm, mhm, mhm. What happened? What is the mistake over here? Select this, this. Okay, let me see. Oh, I want to do the group by on this. So let me see. Group by. What do we have here? So let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me sum these guys and see. Let me sum these ones rather and see. Let me sum this their salary and see. And then I come and group by first name, eh? First name, E dot first name. So it should be E dot first name. E dot okay, still. Oh, what happened? What happened? I think I'll just check it right now for you. But for now, I'll check it because I have to do this. Because I have to do this. Okay. Okay. So I'll check it. See. Why is this thing not coming? Why is this thing not come? The same thing. We are selecting. I'm selecting this employee number. Employee number. Yeah. So why maybe? Let me see. Um, let me do the sum over here and see. Sum. I want to just apply the group by on this thing. Employees as E. So let me see before here. Let me see E dot what? E dot gender. Let me see. Maybe it was the columns that I selected. Maybe. So now let me see. We got gender has what? Gender has two categories. So group by E dot what? Or group by gender. And let me see. Okay, finally we've been able to execute this. Okay, so we've had the total. This is the total, total salaries based on this. So gender, this is the amount that was paid to the females, the males, and this is the amount that was paid towards the females, right? Yeah. So the next with the join, we've just done this to the first one. I've been able to we've been able to join two tables. I would like us to join what, more tables. Two or more. If you have another table, so for instance, we want to get the first name, the last name, we'll get the employee's name, we'll get what the department, his manager, and maybe we'll get what the department the person in. This is like three different tables, right? Three different tables. Bring those things together. So how are we able to join more than two tables? So let's do that. When we join that, then we know we are on top. We are right. Okay. So as I said, we have what the depart employee table, we have the department table, and then we have what um the department manager to table. So when we pick one, we want to get all of this information. So first of all, um let's go. So select which ones we need to specify. The so will come from department department uh department as what. Now the next thing is that you can decide not to bring the as when you are doing the join, right? So join joining joining with what department manager, DEPT underscore what manager. Then this one is also, we can say what DM, we can say as manager on. That means where would the D and this one be? So D dot what? We have departments. This is they are common. They have the common. As I said, you always have to know what the common, this one column that is between these two things. So yes, and now this output is also something. So now we can say with employees, then we just bring another join. Then we say we are joining it with what employees. employees table as E on, then we say what? We are joining it with the M, so we use the last one. The last one, you see, this one was D dot emp, but now the equal after the equal to was the M. That means we are using the department manager, so we have to join it with that one. So M dot what? There's what? Employee number over there. Here is employee number, EMNO, which is equal to the E dot what? EMP underscore NO. So now we've done this, then we have to specify. We want what? The first name, first underscore name. And then we have the second one dot what? Last underscore name. Comma, I think, comma, comma. We want what? Higher date, E dot higher underscore date. We keep going. Keep going. We want what? The from from date. So we are basically picking things from, because department department number, from date, from somewhere. He has been in the department from this particular date, so from underscore date, from underscore date. Then we can then go towards the department name, D dot what? DP DE PT, sorry, PT underscore name. Oh, okay. So when I didn't end this statement. Oh, what happened? Okay. So select. I didn't end what was about here. Comma over here. That's all. Control enter. So this is control and enter. Then we get this output, right? This is the output that we get. Yes, 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 yes. We have been able to join about what? Three different tables. So yes, I think. Oh. So yes, that is it. That is it. Right. That is it. So after that, you just need to learn, have time on this join. The joins are very important. Just have time on it, right? So imagine you want to know the department, each department, and the average salary that goes into those departments, right? You want to know that when let me just do this, and we can so we can select. Maybe we'll be calling D as what? Department. So we'll pick what? There's department numbers over there, department underscore number. So and maybe we'll be picking what? The average salary, AVG. Then we'll pick what? Salary. Salary from, have you seen that? So we'll select all of this from what? We have what? Department, department as D. Join. Then we are joining it with what? Department manager, debt manager, debt manager as M. On where? On where? The common one is what? Department number. There's department number in department, and department number in what? Department this one. So when we say on, then we have to say what? D dot what? Department number, which is equal to M dot what? Then we have the same thing, depth number. Have you seen that? So then when we go down, we just, okay. So this is department. And now we've gotten the department but we've still not joined it with the salary yet because we needed salary. So it means we have to add another join. Then this means three. So we are joining salary. Just take your time. Salaries as S on. Then the last one was M, M dot emp number, which is equal to S dot what? S dot emp number. That is it, right? So when we do this, this output will be there, but we need to, let's group them by what? The department name, because we want to do that was the agenda that we want. So we want to group them by D dot what? Department name. Yep. So when we do this, let me end the statements and run. So we get this. So each department and the average salary that goes there, each department and the average salary that goes there. Then over here you can do your order by, you can order by what? um Department number. No, you can. So no, it means I want us to group them by this. So this one I don't like the name that has come as what. So we can say as average, average, average salary, average salary. Oh, I think the name, it is average salary. Oh, but you have an error in the single, check the manual. Oh, it's still order by order by what one are ordering by average underscore salary. This is it, right? So yes, so I can say what descending, because so that I get the highest. So yes, I think this is it. Okay, let's see. Don't worry. It has been a marathon. Just take your time, go through the video, and maybe I'll even send this I'll send this file to into the group, so you see, you can follow, you can just take it and run all of these things that we've done, right? If you have any question, let me know. Or otherwise we'll meet tomorrow, we'll continue tomorrow. I think this was all we wanted to do. I think from now, we'll, tomorrow we'll just do a brushing of a few things from here, then we'll jump towards Python, then we'll see how we'll be able to integrate them together, right? We'll do the installations together, right? If there's nothing, then let's go. We'll meet tomorrow, right? Yeah, that's what I did. Can you do something like average? You see, I've just done that as average. Look at it. Yeah. Transfer, just see. I did what? The average salary. I didn't want it to come out as AVG into bracket salary, so I said as average salary. Okay. See you. Thank you all for coming.